It's now time for the changing weather. I'm meteorologist Gary Lezak. Winter and spring are going to battle, a major battle, as this weather pattern is wild. The next few days, 2 storms to track. So let's go into the details here and begin from the start. We're going to call this a major winter storm, severe weather outbreaks, and big flooding events on this April Fool's Day, and this is no joke. It's the exact opposite of what everyone thinks, chaos. It is order. And we have a lot to share today, so this is going to be a big one. So let me take you through this. Today we have severe weather possible in the plains, high wind warning for New Mexico and southern Colorado, winter storm warnings across the western part of the country in the Sierra Nevada, and also up here across North Dakota and Minnesota, where 6 to 12 inches of snow is possible, and then major flooding is possible with too much rain from Ohio all the way back to Arkansas, as you can see there. The level 3 risk of severe weather does exist. It's not really warm enough for me to be big concerned, but if thunderstorms do develop, there could be some tornadoes today, so we'll watch. Some of those thunderstorms may be behind the cold front, so for Kansas City, something to watch closely. Rain and snow likely up in the northern plains, snow and thunderstorms through the plains, and then where the rain is going to be the heaviest is in this area. Some of these spots up north do need the moisture badly. Could it snow? This isn't an April Fool's joke. I often play that joke every year, but this is a Canadian model showing snow in Kansas City on Sunday. So again, not an April Fool's joke, but you could play one on somebody. It might snow. We'll see what happens with that. Weather 2020 has discovered the crystal ball of weather forecasting. All right? It might drive other scientists crazy, but this is the absolute truth in weather. We have tomorrow's model that is being used today. The weather pattern is cycling right on schedule. The same spots keep getting hit with major flooding potential and severe weather predicted weeks to months in advance. The same spots that get missed continue to get missed, and they are staying dry. But today a major winter storm is in progress over some of these spots. The storm systems forming now are directly related to the ones that cycled through in October, late November, and the first half of January. We are proud of this fact, all right? And you can let everyone around the nation, around the world know. Weather 2020 is the #1 hurricane season forecaster in the world. The data is tracked by the Barcelona Supercomputing Center. If this were a golf tournament, it would be round 1 in 2022, round 2 in 2023, round 3 in 2024. In 2022, it would have been like we shot a 59, 12 under par, and had a 10-stroke lead on the field. 2023 and 2024, we did quite well. It would be like we shot 3 and 4 under par, excellent rounds, and we win the championship. And it's not even close. You can see all these other companies and government agencies and universities. Weather 2020 #1 with this high rating compared to everybody else's. How did we do that? How are we continuing to do that? It's the LRC. And a lot of you know all about it. The weather pattern is cycling. I'm going to give you a big example in just a few minutes. The LRC is the centerpiece of the big atmospheric jigsaw puzzle. There are other influences such as ENSO, the El Nino Southern Oscillation Index, the Arctic Oscillation. ENSO, the models were horrible again this year. They predicted it could be a La Nina, a weak one, but it turns out we did have La Nina conditions, but it only dipped below this blue line briefly on the December, January, February timeframe. So it will go down as not a La Nina winter, as a neutral winter, but Perhaps there are influences from it. But look what's happened in the last few weeks. It has warmed all the way to above average today. And the models didn't predict this. They predicted a little warmer, but now we'll see where they go. Again, these models are not like the LRC. They're very unreliable, but they give you a hint. And you can see that it's trying to trend neutral or possibly even El Nino next winter. We'll see how that goes. The other influence, when the AO, the Arctic Oscillation, dips negative, we have an Arctic outbreak. And there was one, most likely, and it energizes the jet stream. When it's positive, storms are weaker and the jet stream is farther north. We've had all kinds of swings in this. We had one Arctic outbreak with the AO dip negative in January. Another one in mid-February was record-breaking. And it's dipping again. So we'll see what happens in April. But just know it's going up and down. So even if it turns cold in April and we have a freeze, a mid to late freeze, it will warm up again soon. The maps showcase the LRC. I want to show you something. We're now experiencing this segment of the LRC for the 5th time. Some interesting revelations. First of all, what is this we're looking at? This is the 500 millibar flow. You can see right in here, 500 millibars, all right? That's about 18,000 feet up or halfway through the atmosphere in weight. There's a storm coming into the West Coast on, this is October 11th, cycle 1, all right? We identified it's about a 40 to 42 day cycle. What happened 42 days later? Similar system off the West Coast. What happened 42 days after that? January 3rd. When this happened, when this system was forming, I clearly laid out in this report that this energy coming in due to blocking, it was going to create the conditions for the blizzard 2 to 3 days later. And there was a blizzard 2 to 3 days later. It's this energy that came in. It's not just this storm we're looking at. It's the whole weather pattern that's cycling. Let's go to February the 13th, 42 days later again, right? 41 days later. Look at this. There it is again, all right? And then what happened 7 days after that was the New Orleans snowstorm, believe it or not. Now look at just a few days ago. There it is again, March 27th. This is March 27th. So look at this. March 27th, February 13th, and January 3rd, November, October. All 5 cycles. I want you to stare at that. This is what the LRC is able to teach us. It's not that we're just showing you this. We predicted that the pattern would look like this at the end of March. All right? We thought there'd be snowstorms. I thought Kansas City would get some snow. But you just saw, maybe they will this weekend. So it's amazing. So there it is, the LRC. Now watch. What happened next after that energy came in? About a week later. Look at this. Remember, I showed this? The snowstorm right down I-70? On November 30th, this is November 30th. And then February 18th, about 80 days later, a similar radar. All right, January 10th, right down the middle, January 9th, it also looked like this, and it snowed again. So, what's happening tonight? A possibility of a line of thunderstorms. Some of the models have a raging line, some of them have a weaker line, some of them have it going just north. However, look what happens. Could it line up just like this once again? All right, tonight, I'll be monitoring radar because I will not be surprised if it lines up. While that's going on, there's a big snowstorm developing in the North Dakota, northwest, western Minnesota, northeast South Dakota. And this area of snow around Fargo is very important. Very strong low pressure area again, by the way, because they need moisture. This is the drought conditions on March the 25th, 2025. And this red area here is a D3 extreme drought. So parts of South Dakota, all of South Dakota is in it, of D1 to D3 drought. But this area is getting hit now, so the drought should reduce in this area in the next couple of weeks. There's some concern for this drought to expand, but I think it's going to start shrinking. I've been saying that. I'm sticking to it. That's our forecast. As you can see here, here's the rain. The rain is extending across the area, across the northern plains. And Jeremy, I'll call you right back. And you can see way too much flooding rain in the southeast from Ohio, not really the southeast, from Ohio back to Arkansas. But at least some spots are starting to get moisture, some way too much. You remember, this part of the pattern is going to return. Don't be shocked if this area in the end of April into May is farther northwest, right over Kansas City. So what does the LRC model show? The LRC model, before we get to that, this might shock you. From October 5th to April 1st, the entire 6.5 month stretch, 7-month stretch almost, you can see that we have above average temperatures in many areas, almost the entire nation. It has not been a cold 7 months. There were cold stretches, and with those, it still averages out to above average. Precipitation-wise, wet across parts of Colorado, southwest Kansas. It's been drying out there recently, and dry across that one region of the northern plains. But they're getting hit today. So there's the last 7 months from October 5th to April Fool's Day. The LRC model, this is the forecast from April 15th to June 30th. This is the only model in the world, that predicts the weather long range accurately using the LRC. And if you have this dashboard, you can go down to your state and down to your county and get these forecasts. The percentage of average precipitation, there's some areas that are going to be about 70% to 80% of average. Some areas will continue to struggle to get precipitation this spring. But maybe it'll be timed out right for your crops. And then wetter areas down across Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, and Kansas, as you can see there. Is there going to be a late freeze? We're going to have a freeze in the next couple of weeks. After that, this part of the pattern returns around mid-May, and notice that it could drop to 38 degrees. This is the average of all those states I just showed you. So you can go down to your county and get the same map on our dashboard. And then rainfall-wise, this is day by day instead of week by week, beginning around April 20th, all the way to the end of June. And everything that goes above this green line is wet. So there's a storm around the 24th of April, around the 20th to 22nd of April. And then that's probably the 15th of April, actually. And then May 1st, May 15th, June 1st, June 15th, you can see here. And these are the storms when you see the spikes. So if you'd like to have that dashboard, contact Bryce at weather2020.com or go to weather2020.com. So there is your forecast. We're setting up a little studio in here. It's pretty interesting. I hope everyone's doing great. And I'm meteorologist Gary Lezak. Let me know if there's any questions. And LRC is right on schedule. Spread the word about that. You're in on a secret, everybody. And we have a lot to share with you. Number one in hurricane season prediction. And if we're number one in hurricane prediction, over 90% accurate in severe weather outbreaks, winter storms, we're the only source that can predict the weather of when and where. And we're number one in other categories. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for watching The Changing Weather.